I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't slay. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them noxious. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC Singapore, and the card is starting in, I think, like 10 hours. So the card is starting fairly soon here. I'm going to be probably calling it a night after the show to wake up early just in time for the Liang fight. So I might wake up at like 5:30, 5:20. Probably going to miss the Choi fight, Aaron's fight, but then I'll be ready to go for my girl Liang to try to go out there and pull off a big upset. So, yeah, looking forward to the card, though. I think it's a very fun card from a fan perspective, really top to bottom. I think it's a solid card from a betting perspective, Draftkings perspective. So hopefully it is a good night of fights and it is a good night of bets. Before we get into it, all of you guys can please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel. Put out a lot of content throughout the week. I did the full card breakdown, some prize picks, some Draftkings, betting breakdown video, just a lot of content. Week in and week out. Contender series has been going on as well. Next week we have UFC Paris. So yeah, lots of MMA. We are still in the mix of a 17-week stretch. I think we're like in week 13. So it's been an absolute grind, especially with Dana White's Contender series coming along. And I think there's 10 weeks of that. We're in week 4 of that. So lots and lots of MMA, lots of content as of late. And yeah, just looking forward to some UFC Singapore, hoping to end August on a high note. So yeah, let's shout out the chat here. We got Jagoots, first one in the chat. We got my guy Monster saying big salute to you as well. Dixon Sider saying, Brady, I'm hearing rumors on MMA Twitter that you've officially asked your wife to get the Liang. Oh gosh, she would never ever do that, I don't think, but a man can wish, right? We got Jussie saying, oh hell yeah, what is up, Jussie? We got Uncle Wheezy in the building. Let's go, Brady. Do the show, then go straight to bed so you can wake up just in time for the Liang fight. Let's stack them high. Yep. Planning to go to bed at 9 o'clock, very, very early, and then waking up very, very early. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Not a big morning person myself, but for Liang I'm willing to do, wake up early for her. So we got just to say Nakamura minus 900 is no bueno, but Nakamura by Kimura. I like that. 50-1, eh? There you go. That'd be a heck of a call. We got bare knuckle tonight. There we go. I will not be watching that. I will be hopefully sleeping. We got Mike in the chat. Let's make some money. I agree. Hours away from Liang. Yes, there is a lot of tension. A lot of tension. A lot of people really counting on Liang. I've had like multiple people hit me up saying they bet on Liang, which I'm like, oh, that's probably not just take her first round prop. But yeah, I'm hoping she pulls off the upset. I'm obviously a big fan, and I spent $30 on this wig, so I'm hoping I can put it to use at least a couple more times. But I mean, if she loses this fight, I wouldn't cut her. But if she loses this fight, that will be 3 straight losses there. So rooting hard for Liang. We got Jason in the chat as well. We got Kartha in the chat. We got Artem in the chat as well. Excited for this card. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We got Nick in the chat. What is up, Nick? We have Danita in the chat. What is up? We got Sean in the chat. Got any parlays? No part of. There's like a cat outside my house. I don't own a cat. But anyway, yeah, I don't have any official parlays, but I think this is a great parlay card. I think there's a lot of great parlay pieces that are going to hit this week. You got the obvious one. I mean, they're super chalky, but yeah, Holloway's going to win. Nakamura is going to win. There's some easy violent spot parlay. So I think from a parlay perspective, a lot of these big favorites should get it done. Death taxes in Liang. Now we got David in the chat. Can you do a video on how to manage a bankroll? What should one unit be to live off betting? Made 4K in a month since starting to watch your video. Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on doing like some extra betting content. I wanted to do a video in terms of, I wrote an article a couple years ago about my 10 rules in terms of MMA betting. So I want to do something like that. And there's some other things I want to get into, but right now where we have like a card every single week and, Dana White's Contender Series, I don't really have a lot of time to do any of that. So maybe when a week off comes in a couple of weeks, maybe I'll do some extra betting content there. But I say we get into it, guys, and we're going to get right into the first fight of the night. We got Sung-Woo Choi going against Jarno Aarons, and we have a money line that has kind of crashed down throughout the week a little bit. So I remember taping this fight on Saturday, Sunday, and seeing Sung-Woo Choi around like minus 190. And at that point, I'm like, no, I'm okay on that. I mean, this is a guy that I was once kind of high on. I had some somewhat high expectations for Sung-Woo Choi. I thought that he was finally starting to put it together, working on that ground game. He's always been a really good striker. But, he's on a 3-fight skid as of now. This is a guy that I really question, like the decision-making, the fight IQ, the striking defense, and the chin at this point. He's been dropped like 4 times in his last 3 fights. I mean, the chin is definitely an issue. He's taken on Jarno Aarons, though, who I'm just not really high on whatsoever. I get why people might be taking the dog shot on Aaron just because, you really can't trust Choi at this point. He is coming off of a 3-fight skid, and Jarno Aarons, he can grapple, he can mix in takedowns, and Choi obviously is defensively irresponsible. So nothing for the first fight of the night. And like I said, I'm probably going to sleep in an extra 30 minutes so I don't have to watch it. Not saying it's going to be a bad fight. It's just not a fight that I really want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for. So I'm going to stick with my pick for Sung-Woo Choi, but don't really have an interest in betting on this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, though, I think I have some interest in Jarno Aarons. This is a guy that has a ton of line value. As of now, like on the money line, he's sitting around plus 120, plus 125, and he's only 7,400 on DraftKings. And like I said, he has potential grappling upside, potential knockdown upside because Choi is potentially chinny. So I don't mind the dog shot on Jarno Aarons, at least from a DraftKings perspective. But I think Choi probably wins this by decision, stuffing the takedowns and doing the better work across 15 minutes. MMA Jesus in the building. I just posted my picks. Good luck on your picks, MMA Jesus. Locker room says last night he had a dream. Na Liang wins in round 1 by knockout. There you go. I mean, I hope, man. I'll be rooting for it. She's going to have opportunities, but she'll have about 2 minutes to do it. And I hope so, too. I hope Liang Na wins so she can get another contract. Me, too. I really hope they sign her, but she needs to win this fight. I have a bet on Aarons to win. Don't hate it, especially if you got in on an earlier number, just because, Sung-Woo Choi probably shouldn't be minus 190 against anybody at this point. All right, we'll move on. Oh my gosh, that'd be a horrible fight. Liang Na, Juliana Miller. I actually think Liang Na probably finishes Juliana Miller in like 60 seconds there. But if not, she's going to gas out and Miller probably finishes her. What an ugly fight that would be. Jesus taking the big dog shot on Na. The Dragon Girl, yes, sir. Let's get it. All right. Speaking of the Dragon Girl, we have my main event of the evening, and it's starting very, very early, the second fight of the night. I'm hoping that this fight is just going to wake me up and set the tone for the rest of the card. It is JJ Aldrich going against Liang Na. So I'm not sure if Propaholic is in the building, but I got to shout out my guy, Propaholic. I was sitting there, I think, on Sunday, and my phone starts blowing up on Discord, and Propaholics is like, I'm going to keep blowing up until I answer. And the reason he was blowing me up is because the total for Liang Na, it was weird. So it opened up at like minus 300 to the under, and then the over got crushed, and then the under 2.5 rounds was sitting at minus 105. I know Uncle Weezy got in at minus 105. I was able to get in at minus 110 for 2 units, and that's my only play thus far on this fight. And I think I'm just going to ride with that. I'll be honest, like if Liang Na was fighting anybody other than JJ Aldrich, I'd be max betting the under 2.5 here. I was actually surprised to see that they set the total at 2.5 rounds, considering Liang Na has about 2 minutes of gas, and she's been to decision once in her entire career. But yeah, it's a 2.5, and ultimately I had to take the under. But yeah, if she was fighting like any type of other finisher other than JJ Aldrich, it would have been a max bet. But I still think JJ Aldrich can finish this fight just because Liang Na, she's a great hammer early on, but she's like the worst nail I've ever seen. I was watching this one fight, and it was hilarious. Like, it was the first round, and she was gassed out in the first round. She was pulling guard, she was turtling up. I mean, it's just not a great look. But Liang Na is super dangerous, but she's dangerous for a couple minutes. She has power. She has good wrestling, good grappling, but again, it's only for a couple minutes. So she is going to have a window of opportunity to win, but I think it has to be like under 2.5 minutes here. JJ Aldrich, for what it's worth, she has been finished twice, once by knockout, once by submission. So yeah, if I was to bet Liang Na, it would be the first round prop at plus 1,400. That's literally her win condition. Liang Na is not going to go out there and win a decision against anybody, especially in the UFC. And Liang Na is not going to go out there and probably finish a fight in the second or third round in the UFC. I think it has to be very, very early. So looking forward to Liang Na, rooting for her. But I think JJ Aldrich probably does weather the storm, get it extended a little bit, and eventually find the finish. But yeah, Liang Na's going to be very live in the first round. I'll say that. So I'm on the under 2.5 rounds, 2 units, minus 110. I think the under where it's at now, minus 170, minus 180 is very generous for a Liang Na fight, considering she's only been over 2.5 rounds once in her entire career. So from a DraftKings perspective, I mean, it's hard to get up to Aldrich. 9,400 for JJ Aldrich just sounds kind of disgusting. And obviously we have some crazy plays up top. We have Rinya Nakamura up top. We have Max Holloway up top. So it's really, really hard to go out there and get JJ Aldrich at 9,400. If anything, I think a pump play on Liang Na is something I'm going to be looking to do, just because her win condition is literally a first round finish. And if she wins this fight, she's going to break the slate and she's going to put up a massive score. So from a DraftKings perspective, I'm on the Liang Na side. And from a betting perspective, I'm on the side of violence there. Liang might actually knock her out. She's going to try. She's going to try. She does have some power. Oh, you're talking about Miller? You're talking about Miller? Yeah, she probably will. She probably would in that situation. This is the large cage here. And yeah, we're going to be in Singapore, large cage. I'm like 99% sure we're in the large cage. I think they only do the smaller cage in the Apex there. Let's see, against Miller. Yes, sir. All right. So let's keep on moving on. And we have Yasaku Kinoshita going against Billy Goff. We have a close money line here. We have Kinoshita is currently minus 137. And then we have Billy Goff at plus 117. So yeah, Billy Goff seems to be a pretty popular underdog this week. I get it. People are not so high on Kinoshita after he dropped the ball as a very massive favorite in his last fight against Adam Fugit. But I'm watching tape on Billy Goff, and there's a trend in literally every single fight. And every fight he's winning and losing. He's getting like dropped. He's getting hurt. He's so defensively irresponsible. He's able to recover a lot of times and come back and get the finish himself. But just being this defensively responsible just doesn't really seem like the best strategy in the UFC, and especially against a guy like Kinoshita, who's just very, very dangerous. So I'm just not sure this Homer Simpson type approach where he's getting dropped, knocked down, wobbled, 10-8 in the first round is going to work against a guy as dangerous as Kinoshita. I might look at this from like a live bet standpoint, where if Billy Goff is able to like weather an early storm and he's still standing, in the second, third round, I might look at it from a live bet situation. But pre-flop, I am on the Kinoshita side, and I do have a 1 unit on Kinoshita to win inside the distance, plus 120. I think it's more than likely by knockout, but he does have a couple submissions on his record, so there wasn't much difference in price to where the point I just want to take the inside the distance there. I think he finishes Billy Goff, and I think it's probably early as well. I think he lands a big shot and gets Billy Goff out of there, and I think he gets back on track. This is a guy in Kinoshita who just had tons and tons of hype. People were all over him against Adam Fugit, and now everybody thinks he sucks because he lost as a big favorite. So should be a good bounce back spot for him. I'm still pretty high on Kinoshita, but I also do like Billy Goff. I think Billy Goff's a good fighter, but give me Kinoshita to get the finish. From a DraftKings perspective, great fight to target here. This fight is heavily favored to end inside the distance. I think I saw like minus 275 to end inside the distance there. Kinoshita, 8,400. Finish upside, I think it could be early. And then even Billy Goff finish upside in his own right. So, yeah, I think it's a great fight to target overall, but I do lean to the Kinoshita side there. Kinoshita bounce back spot. That's what I'm thinking as well. Kinoshita lock. I don't know about a lock, but I think he gets it done. Hi, brother. What is up? What is up? Gomzi. Hopefully I pronounced that somewhat right. Goomzi. I might do a few bets for this weekend. Hope everyone has been doing well. What is up, Gaming Wolf? Yeah, it's been a while, I think, since we've seen you in here. So what is up, Gaming Wolf? Hopefully you are all right. All right. So let's keep on moving on. And we have Rolando Badoya going against Song Kanan. We have Badoya as a massive favorite. Badoya is currently, holy crap, sitting at minus 350. And Song Kanan is currently sitting at plus 285, which is, pretty ridiculous. I mean, I'm not as high on Badoya as a lot of people are. I mean, minus 350 for this guy. I mean, I think he wins this fight. I think it's a solid matchup for him, but I just think he has some defensive issues. But I mean, he's a guy that has a very, very good chin. I think he'll be all right in the UFC for the most part. But this guy's strike and defense is pretty terrible. He relies a lot on his chin, though, which he was able to do against Chaos Williams. He ate like 130 shots. And I talked about this on my prediction video where, Joe Rogan was like, Badoya is doing a really good job defensively. And DC started laughing and saying, his defense is getting punched in the face and smiling. Like, this guy's durability is no joke. But yeah, the striking defense might catch up to him in the future. And Song does hit hard. It's just, I don't know if anybody's ever knocking out Rolando Badoya. This guy just has an incredible chin. I mean, eating 130 shots from Chaos Williams to the face is not easy to do. So I think his durability will hold up. I think Badoya is obviously the more durable fighter in this matchup. Badoya is the younger fighter in this matchup. Badoya is going to have more volume in this matchup. Badoya is going to have better cardio in this matchup. So there's a lot of reasons to like Badoya, but I wouldn't personally play him at minus 350. I think that's kind of wild, but I think he should win. What I did do is I took a half unit shot on Badoya by knockout at plus 205. I was watching that Chaos Williams fight, and Badoya was landing some very, very hard shots, and I thought to myself, man, if Badoya is landing these shots against Song Kanan, he's probably knocking him out. I mean, Chaos Williams showed some great durability in his own right. So I think at some point, Badoya does touch the chin of Song Kanan, who's been knocked out 4 times by guys like Ian Gary, who couldn't finish Neil Magny for some reason, and then guys like Max Griffin, who's not really finishing anybody. So I think Badoya is very live for a knockout, and plus 205. I took my shot there. Got Rolando at minus 225. There you go. You beat the line movement by a whole $1 and more. So yeah, you did your job. Minus 225. Even then, I didn't like it there, but I think your bet cashes. Brady, do you think Badoya lands over 100 significant strikes in a decision or finish? 100 is a lot, man. I don't know. I mean, he had over 100 against Chaos Williams, but like I said, Chaos ate some shots, showed some extreme durability where I don't know if Song Kanan can eat 100 hard shots from this guy. And Badoya does a lot of head hunting as well. I don't know. I don't really like it. Could go to decision or KO him. Same game parlay on Max with almost any over seems way too favorable. Yeah, they're overrating the finish a little bit. We'll talk about that Max fight in a little bit. All right. Talk about this fight from a DraftKings perspective. I mean, not much is really sticking out. I mean, 9,200 for Badoya. What I'm doing on DraftKings is just trying to get as much Rinya Nakamura and Max Holloway as possible. So I'm not playing a lot of these other guys. Like, I'm not playing Giga Chikaze. I'm not playing Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm not really playing Badoya because I need to get as much Max in there and as much Rinya in there as possible. And as far as Song Kanan, puncher's chance, but like I said, knocking out Rolando Badoya is going to be kind of tough to do. Watching an interview with Rolando, he was talking about showing his ground game. Yeah, he might try to do that. It's something he has shown to do outside the UFC. So we'll see. How Song's ground game, it's not amazing, but for the record, he hasn't ever been subbed. He has 4 knockout losses. All right. Let's keep moving on. We have Mikel Oleksiejczuk going against Chidi and Jaquani. We have Mikel Oleksiejczuk as like a very slight favorite. It's about a pick 'em, right? Minus 125 for Mikel, and then plus 105 for Chidi and Jaquani. So the bet I have here is the fight to end by knockout. Bet River Sportsbook has it at minus 162. I think it's a great way to attack violence here. Between these guys, they have a combined 27 knockouts and only a combined 2 submission wins. I think these guys are going to stand and bang. These guys are strikers. These guys are finally getting a matchup where they're not going to be worried about getting taken down. I think both guys have a lot of power. Chidi's going to have a size and reach advantage. And then Mikel has a lot of volume and a lot of power in his own right. So I think these guys are going to stand and bang until one man falls. And I think the fight ending by knockout is a great way to get that price down on Bet River Sportsbook. So I have the fight ends KO minus 162 for 2 units. And I think somebody gets knocked out here. Don't really have a strong lean on who gets knocked out. I like the size of Chidi and Jaquani. I like the big, giant reach advantage he has as well. I like the power of Chidi, but, I'm really a big fan of Mikel Oleksiejczuk. I love the volume, the power, the way he mixes it up to the body. So, it's a close fight. I don't have a strong lean one way or another, but I do think violence is the answer here. Same thing on DraftKings, 8,000 for Chidi, 8,200 for Mikel. I think these guys are both in play. I think these guys are both very live for a knockout, and I think the winner absolutely smashes this price tag. So I think it's a great fight to target overall in DraftKings. All right. All right. That likely means he thinks he will get shot on, not like take Song down. Song's not taken down. Badoya. I was able to get Holloway and Nakamura in one lineup on DraftKings. I try to get as much as that as possible, but it's not easy to do whatsoever. Song's takedown defense isn't good in my opinion. Yeah, it's not great. Andrew's here. What is up, Andrew? I want to go with a underdog, still uneasy feeling over Chidi and Jaquani. Hope I got the name right. Yep, I think you got it right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm picking Chidi, but not with a ton of confidence. Song dropped Ian Gary. His money line is live. Yeah, Song has power, and Badoya does eat punches with his face. So, I mean, we'll see if he can crack that chin. But it's going to be easier said than done to do that, in my opinion. All right, let's keep moving on before we do so. If you guys could do me a favor, smash the like button. Let's try to get those likes up. And if we get to 100 likes by the time we get out of here, I will play my Liang Na tribute song that I played on Stat Diggers. But if we get 100 likes, I will play that. If not, it is on my Twitter. All right, we will move on to what do we got here? Garrett Armfield going against Toshiyami Kazama. Yeah, I like a lot of these fights on the prelim. This is going to be a very, very fun fight here. So we have Garrett Armfield is the favorite. He is currently sitting around like minus 155, and then Toshiyami Kazama is sitting around plus 135. Another violent spot I like here. I like the under 2.5 rounds. I got it at minus 145 for 1.5 units. DraftKings Sportsbook. Striker versus grappler matchup. You have Garrett Armfield, who's going to have opportunities to knock out Kazama. I don't think Kazama has good striking whatsoever. He's been knocked out twice in his career, but Kazama does have a path to victory here, and that path to victory is going to be getting this fight down to the mat and finding a sub. When Armfield loses, he's getting taken down, he's getting subbed. He's been finished in 2 of his 3 losses by submission. So on the feet, Armfield will have knockout opportunities, and then on the mat, both guys will have submission opportunities, but Kazama could potentially have some success against Garrett Armfield here on the ground. So I think somebody's probably getting served here. I like the under. I'm going to pick Kazama for the upset. I'm going to pick Kazama to win by submission. I didn't hate the money line, but it got kind of crushed throughout the week. It was like plus 150, plus 155. I did not mind that at all, and now it's down a little bit. But yeah, I think Kazama's very, very live to win this matchup. But at the same time, he's also kind of live to get knocked out as well. So I like the under. I like this fight from a DraftKings perspective. Kazama is one of my favorite dogs on DraftKings because he has takedown upside. He has submission upside as well. And Armfield, like I said, he has finish upside in his own right. So I love this fight from a DraftKings perspective, a violence perspective. I'll pick Toshiyami Kazama to get the job done. But this fight's gonna be a war. I don't know if you guys saw the face-offs. These guys were going after it. It was the most intense face-off of the day, and I bet the under before the face-off And I saw a lot of people betting the under after the face-off, which makes a lot of sense because these guys were very intense at the face-offs there. Got your picks locked in. Will you be sending out an email too? Yes, sir. I will be doing that probably after the show. Kazama had a tough debut. He learned absolutely had a tough debut. A tough debut against Rinya Nakamura, who we'll talk about soon. Miku saying, better move, he might get knocked out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see. I like Kazama. He has a lot of BJJ tournament experience. Yeah, he's a really good grappler. He competed in the World Champs a few years ago as well. Yeah, this guy's no joke on the mat, and that's kind of where Armfield struggles. So I see why people are on this guy as an underdog. Kazama, in my opinion, takes this. I think he's very live to do so as long as that chin holds up and as long as he goes out there and doesn't fight like a complete moron. Like against Rinya, he went out there and just fought like a complete idiot and got caught and knocked out. I do expect him to get this fight down to the mat. And when he does so, he's going to have plenty of opportunities, I think, to find that submission there. All right. We'll keep moving on. We have Waldo Cortez Acosta going against Lucas Brzeski. We got Acosta is a decent-sized favorite, and I think the line actually came down a little bit. Waldo by murder. I don't think he's murdering anybody in the UFC. But yeah, I do like him to win this fight. So he's now minus 220, and then Brzeski is plus 185. Yeah, some spots that kind of stuck out here was the Waldo round 3 or decision prop at plus 110. Waldo Cortez just not a finisher. He's more of a volume guy, really good volume, but not a power guy. He wasn't able to finish guys like Chase Sherman, Jared Vandera, and Lucas Brzeski is a tough dude. I think this fight does go the full 15. I think it could kind of be close. I mean, I'm not high on Waldo Cortez Acosta. I think there's a lot of holes in his game, and I'll be looking to fade him again in the very near future, just like I did with Marcos Ujiri de Lima. But here is just not really the spot. I don't think just because Brzeski, he can wrestle, he can grapple, but his gas tank is like horrible. Like this guy looks gassed out 60 minutes into the fight. So am I going to be able to trust him to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes? Probably not. His body language looks terrible during the fight. His mouth's wide open. He looks sluggish, and he's still able to fight. He's still able to compete, but it's just not a great look for the judges. So, and that's kind of why I think he lost that Martin Badoya fight. He was clearly outlanding Badoya, but he looked like he was dying while striking. So, I think Acosta should be the fresher fighter as the fight goes on, landing a little bit more volume. But I think this fight could be a little bit closer than this line does indicate. Round 3 decision for Acosta was a play that I almost, pulled the trigger on, but plus 110 ended up passing, but I think that's kind of how I would attack it if I attacked it at all. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm not touching Acosta just due to the fact that I need Rinya, I need Max Holloway, and I think I even like Badoya a little bit more than Acosta there. So not playing any Acosta. Brzeski, maybe like a low on dart throw because this fight could be close and competitive. He does have a grappling path. It's just his cardio. It sucks. So I don't think he's able to do it. But if his cardio does hold up, I mean, he could make this fight very competitive. So not a big fan of this fight. Probably my second least favorite fight of the card there. We got Ace of Spade. What's up, Brady? Let's get this money. Let's get it indeed. What's up, brother? After last Saturday and Tuesday, I need a big night. I got Blanchfield, Max by decision, and Spann. I'm not really on any of those, but I think they are all very viable outcomes there. I think he gets his finish finally. Oh, you're talking about Waldo? Yeah, maybe. It could happen. I think if it happens, it's probably late though. Bro, your Liang song had me dying. Yeah, I might play it towards the end of the show. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious there. The legendary, but what's up, JP? Or JB, Brzeski getting gassed, stretching in the locker room. Yeah, I mean, his gas tank's horrible. One of the few people who picked Sean. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of crap for that Sean O'Malley pick. I mean, people get so mad about like a prediction. Like, it's kind of sad. Like, somebody today got like upset that I picked Aaron Blanchfield. Like, they were like really mad at me. Like, I don't know. That's probably the most crap I ever got from a Sean O'Malley pick, or from a prediction ever was picking Sean O'Malley. The leash should be on this card. Yeah, why isn't the leash on the card? Is he hurt or what's going on? But yeah, he should be on here. In bets, I'll be fading Tafa versus Porter. I do have a bet on that fight. We'll talk about it very, very shortly. You're good, G, because of the game. Don't hate the player. Yeah, it definitely comes with the game. That is for sure. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Junior Tafa going against Parker Porter. We have Junior Tafa is the favorite. Junior Tafa is sitting at -133. Parker Porter at +113. I'm not a big believer in Parker Porter. I know people make the jokes about Parker Porter, being the GOAT and the heavyweight champion and in the near future, but I just don't see it. I think Parker Porter is durability is a concern. This is a guy that he has some grappling, he has some wrestling, but I don't think his wrestling is that great. I mean, he was able to take down I think Chase Sherman. He was able to take down Alain Badoya, but those guys are have horrible ground games at 27% takedown accuracy. I was one of the very few people on Muhammad Usman whenever Junior Tafa fought him, and Muhammad Usman actually has shown the ability in the past to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes, no problem. He hadn't done it in the very recent future or very recent past, but he's shown the ability to do it, and he went out there with that game plan. Whereas with Parker Porter, I don't know if he's going to be able to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes and either submit this guy or win by decision. I think for Parker Porter to win this fight, he's going to have to control Junior Tafa for just about as long as Muhammad Usman did. I think at some point this fight is going to be at range. I think at some point these guys are going to strike, and when they do strike, I think Junior Tafa is going to land a big shot and knock out Parker Porter, who again I really worry about the durability. So yeah, give me Junior Tafa by knockout. I have one unit on Junior Tafa by knockout at +115. I could take the money line, but to be honest, I don't see Junior Tafa winning a decision, and I obviously don't see Junior Tafa winning by submission. If this fight does go the full 15, it probably means that Parker Porter was able to win minutes, via grappling, because if this fight is striking at all, I think Tafa's knocking him out. So I took the Tafa money line. I took the Tafa KO instead of the money line for that reason. From a DraftKings perspective, yeah, I like Tafa here. I think he has knockout upside, first round knockout upside. I don't hate Porter as an underdog because he has, in theory, some wrestling upside, some grappling upside, takedowns, control, potential sub. But I do think Tafa catches them at some point in this fight, and probably early on. I don't think Porter has the best wrestling. And I think at some point these guys are going to strike, and at some point Tafa does find the chin there. And I'm surprised the fight doesn't go so juiced. I think Parker Porter could potentially win a decision here. The fight doesn't go -325. Parker Porter's not finishing anybody. He couldn't finish Alain Badoya. That's not good at all. So we'll see. Tafa gang, yeah, I think Tafa is the second Tafa to knock out Parker Porter. Tafa gets it done, yes sir. Yeah, I think so as well. If Junior KOs him, Porter will have nightmares about the Tafas for life. That's for sure. That's a tough break. But I see what the UFC is trying to do. They're trying to do the whole brother knock out the same guy thing. I like it. Yeah, if this goes the distance, I see Parker winning. Yeah, I think so as well. Parker could lay on him for 15 minutes. He's going to have to win this fight. Tafa under 2.5. Yeah, I think that's how he wins. They may have a younger brother as well. There's three of you. Yeah, I think they do. I think they do have another brother as well. So maybe the other Tafa can come in there and knock out Porter as well after Junior does it tomorrow. All right. Let's keep moving on then to the next fight. And we have the people's main event, Aaron Blanchfield going against Taila Santos. So yeah, this is a fight where I just don't want anything to do with this fight, to be honest. I think in terms of a ceiling, Aaron Blanchfield absolutely has the higher ceiling. I think that's undeniable. She's only 24 years old. She's making rapid improvements. But Taila Santos is very, very, very good. And yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, to be honest. I see people, planting their flag one way or another. I see a lot of, max bets on Aaron Blanchfield, and I see a lot of max bets on Taila Santos. So somebody's going to look stupid on one side or another. I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. I'm curious to see who's going to be able to win these wrestling exchanges. I'm curious to see who's going to be able to get on top here, because I think this fight is going to take place on the mat. in the striking, Santos has power, but man, Aaron Blanchfield's striking looked really good, like really improved against Jessica Andrade. I know it was Jessica Andrade who seems to be just showing up for a paycheck at this point, but I was not expecting Aaron Blanchfield to go out there and stand and compete in the striking with Jessica Andrade. Very good performance there for Blanchfield. So Blanchfield's been more active. We have not seen Taila Santos in a very long time. Not sure what's been going on with Taila Santos, but I'm going to take Blanchfield, but I just don't have a ton of confidence in it, to be honest. I know people are very confident in her. I'm not really. From a DraftKings perspective, I think I would lean Blanchfield just because she has a ton of upside. Whenever Blanchfield wins fights, she scores 1 million DraftKings points. And I think she has all the finishing equity in this matchup. I don't see Santos finishing Aaron Blanchfield. I think if Santos wins, it's probably a decision. So yeah, give me Blanchfield for the win. Just not a ton of confidence there. Why is Blanchfield so fine? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Future flyweight champion Aaron Blanchfield for the win. Yeah, I do think she is the future flyweight champion, but you could argue Taila Santos should be the flyweight champion right now after she probably beat Valentina Shevchenko. How the heck is this not the co-main event? At least Fernie Garcia after these two. Yeah, I'm not sure. This should absolutely be the co-main event. 100% agree. Aaron is a cold blood killer. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Santos is a decision machine. Yeah, outside of finishing Calderwood, she is. Yeah. So Blanchfield has been incredible in her last few fights. Yes, she has, but it has had Santos. Like even the Shevchenko fight, I thought she won that fight. A lot of people did. Blanchfield is the future of women's MMA. She's going to smash. I do think she's the future. Smash? I don't know. Santos is more fine. Probably a hot take there. She's not really my type, but to each their own. Aaron decision only parlay piece. No, I'm not even sure what that is, but no, I mean Santos could win a decision. So no, I wouldn't really consider that a parlay piece, and it's got to be close, right? Can't be too wide there. You might be able to play it straight. But yeah, give me Blanchfield, but not extremely confident. What I am confident in though is this next fight. Rinya Nakamura, Fernie Garcia. There's 2 fights on this card where I think they shouldn't be sanctioned. They shouldn't be happening. I'm not sure why this fight is happening tomorrow, but yeah, Fernie Garcia is stepping in to take on Rinya Nakamura. It's a horrible matchup for Fernie Garcia. It's a matchup where he struggles with guys that are going to take him down. Rinya Nakamura is going to be able to do really whatever he wants here. He could take down Fernie Garcia and smash him on the ground. He can knock him out on the feet. I'm not sure why Fernie Garcia took this fight. I do have a bet here. And so I was going to do like the same game parlays they have. I was going to do the Rinya Nakamura plus the under 1.5 rounds, the same game parlay, but it was like the same exact price as like the under 1.5 rounds in general. In some books, it was even like a better price for just taking the under 1.5 rather than the same game parlay. So yeah, I think Rinya gets it done in 7.5 minutes. I know some people like the over, but Fernie Garcia, a big talking point is he's never been finished, but I was looking through his record and I started laughing because he's never been finished, but he's fighting like Brady Heastan and he's fighting Journey Newson. You know what Nakamura would do to Brady Heastan and Journey Newson? I think he could take him on probably 2-on-1 in the same cage, the same night, same time, and probably finish them both in 60 seconds. So yeah, Fernie's never been finished, but he's never fought anybody as good and as dangerous and as well-rounded as Rinya Nakamura. So I just don't see Fernie lasting 7.5, let alone maybe 5 minutes against this guy in there. So a lot of people on the Rinya Nakamura sub. I don't hate it, but the price has kind of got smashed throughout the week. It was like $5.90, I think, something crazy like that. I would have hopped on there. It's not $5.90 anymore, but I think a sub could be in play. But I also think like a standing knockout could be in play. A TKO on the mat could be in play as well. I could see Rinya really doing whatever he wants here in this matchup. So give me the under 1.5 rounds, 1.5 units, minus 155. And I'm getting as much Rinya Nakamura on DraftKings as possible. I think he goes out there and puts up a massive score and gets a finish here. And yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat, I think it was Artem. This is a showcase spot for Rinya Nakamura. They're not putting Fernie Garcia on the main card in Singapore to build him up. I mean, it's obvious what they're doing here. They're trying to build up Rinya Nakamura and get him a highlight reel finish, and a highlight reel finish it will probably be. So give me Nakamura under 7.5 minutes. Came late. Does Lucas have a chance to win? Everybody has a chance. It's MMA, but yeah, he could. I mean, it all depends on the gas tank. Like, if this guy had a gas tank, I might even pick him out right here. It's just his cardio is so bad. But yeah, I think in the striking, it could be competitive in terms of the volume. And then Brzeski does have a little bit of a grappling upside, but it's just the cardio. Like, I can't trust his cardio to go out there and go the full 15 without looking completely tired 60 seconds in. So I think he has a chance, but it's not something I love this week. I'm staying away from that fight for what it's worth. Absolute squash, man. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty bad there. He has 1 sub and 5 KOs. His only sub was a Kimura, which is plus 5,000 on BetMGM. Yeah, you said it. You said it earlier. Nakamura with the Kimura plus 5,000. I think I might have to take a shot on that. I mean, it just makes too much sense. So I think I might sprinkle that a little bit, but I'm kind of leaning KO. And like you said, he has 5 KOs, only 1 sub. But yeah, it could be sub as well. Just whatever he wants, whatever he feels like doing. Nakamura is just so good. I think he could go very far in the UFC. I think so as well. I think this guy is going to be a star, and I think this fight shouldn't even be happening. But we know what they're doing here. Nakamura, easy inside the distance. I think so as well. But Nakamura inside the distance has to be something like ridiculous. So Nakamura inside the distance is minus 350. You don't see that too often, but yeah, I think it hits. I got Nakamura under 29 strikes. I think it hits right. I'd lean towards under 29. I would lean towards it. I was cage side for that O'Malley KO. Put 50 down on it. Thanks to you, brother. That was awesome. Everybody, I had a bunch of friends over. We all bet the FanDuel and Draftkings boost, where it was if Sean O'Malley wins, or if Sean O'Malley wins by knockout, or Aljamain Sterling wins by sub, and they had it like plus 150. We all maxed that out at $50 max, so that was good. And yeah, I picked Sean O'Malley, not with a ton of confidence, but man, was not expecting that. That was awesome. I was pumped up. Nakamura first round KO. That's kind of where I'm leading as well. And yeah, no Fernie for me on DraftKings, and it's I have a ton of Nakamura. I have a ton of Nakamura, a ton of Max Holloway. I think they're both going to go out there and smash and put up a very, very big score. So I want to get as much of them as possible in there. All right, moving on. We have Giga Chikaze going against Alex Caceres. We have Giga Chikaze, 35 years old. Now at this point, last time he fought, he was like 32, 30. It's been a while since Giga's fought, right? And the last time he did fight was against Calvin Kattar, and he just took an absolute beating. And that feels like 2 years ago at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think he's coming back, getting a very favorable matchup against Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres is a black belt that doesn't use that black belt. If anything, he's been subbed like 8 times. He's not going to go out there and probably try to take down Giga, which is a big mistake. I think these guys are going to strike for 15 minutes, and at that point, Giga is going to be the better striker, more tools on the feet, and much more powerful, landing the harder shots. So yeah, I see why money came in on Giga Chikaze to bring him all the way to minus 240. I don't really like Alex Caceres' chances in this match or in this fight, and it's kind of weird for me to say because I'm probably the biggest Giga hater out there, but I think it's a good matchup for him. So give me Chikaze to win this fight, no bet. I could see. I think I kind of lean decision for Giga Chikaze just because Caceres is very, very tough. Caceres in 34 fights has only been knocked out once. See, I think the decision is very much on the table from a DraftKings perspective. I can't play Chikaze, 0 grappling upside. I don't think there's much finishing upside, and you got to get Nakamura and Holloway in there. And then as far as Caceres, just don't really like him as well at 7,200. So for the most part, just fading this fight from a DraftKings perspective and a betting perspective, I'd say. Chikaze comes back strong and wins a unanimous decision. I'm leaning that way as well. I like Giga round 3 decision and a sprinkle on round 1 KO. I don't hate the round 3 decision prop there. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it hits. Just because Caceres, he does not get knocked out. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. And we're back. We are back. All right. Giga should win, but I never like laying money on people that took a life-altering beating in their last fight, and a life-altering beating he did. I mean, that was bad. That was very, very bad. All right. Let's move on to the co-main event. We have Ryan Spann going against Anthony Smith. We have Ryan Spann minus 130, Anthony Smith plus 110. Yeah, this is like borderline 1-800 gambler fight for me. Like, this is a fight where the more I think about it, like, the more I just want nothing to do with it. I thought I'd be like sneaky taking Ryan Spann here. But he's a favorite. I feel like I should be getting dog money just because everybody's on, Anthony Smith this week. But no, I'm not getting dog money at all. I have to lay chalk on Ryan Spann, and Ryan Spann's like a weird fighter. I mean, this guy, he's fragile. He's been finished so many times, but as has Anthony Smith. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I think the under 1.5 is a good look if you got it early, but it's got just crushed throughout the week. Yeah, the under 1.5 is like minus 200 now. So yeah, I think somebody gets finished. I just don't like how Anthony Smith has looked in his last 2 fights. I mean, he's looked bad. Anthony Smith is a guy who we once would never question his heart or toughness, but I am starting to question. Like, he didn't even. I was live at that Johnny Walker fight, and he looked like he didn't want to be there. Like, he was looking for a way out. Luckily for Smith, Johnny Walker didn't finish him. Yeah, for some reason, just didn't finish him. Like, Anthony Smith was literally like folding, and Johnny Walker just wouldn't do anything. He was kind of just standing in front of him. So, but yeah, I hated the body language of Smith there. This is a guy in Smith who has like 54, 55 fights at this point. He's taken a ton of damage. I'm not really sure where his head's at. I'm not really sure why this fight's even happening, to be honest. So yeah, it's a fight that it's borderline 1-800 gambler. I see a lot of people, betting Anthony Smith as an underdog. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put money on Anthony Smith after watching his last 2 fights, but maybe he has Ryan Spann's number. Well, I guess we'll just have to see. But give me Ryan Spann to starch Anthony Smith in the first round. And I even thought about like betting like Ryan Spann like round 1 or inside the distance, but these numbers for the are horrible. Like, Ryan Spann inside the distance is like minus 115, minus 1. Like, it's terrible. Ryan Spann round 1's like plus 160. So, I mean, it's not even worth it to put money on Ryan Spann, who's extremely inconsistent. And like I said, fragile in himself. So, yeah, I just don't want to touch this fight, to be honest, from a betting perspective. From a DraftKings perspective, it's a different story. I think this fight is borderline must target. This fight is not only heavily favored to end inside the distance, but it's heavily favored to end in the first 7.5 minutes. Ryan Spann, when he's winning fight, that's typically in the first round. And we saw Anthony Smith finish Ryan Spann in the first round his last time out. So I think somebody's getting served here, but I don't want to put my hard-earned money on a guy like Ryan Spann, to be honest. And I definitely want to put money on Anthony Smith after his last couple performances where he just looks completely uninterested these days. So give me Ryan Spann with not a ton of confidence. And the more the weeks went on, the more I just want to just completely avoid this fight. Nothing's really sticking out. No props really sticking out. It's a fight that I'm just going to completely avoid there. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning as well. Stark Anthony Smith in the first out cold. I'm with you. Why is this rematch happening, do you think? I have no clue. When I saw it was made, I laughed hysterically because it makes no sense whatsoever. Anthony Smith's delusional, saying Pereira is a normal dude at 205. I think he gets retired here. Yeah, I would like to see Anthony Smith versus Alex Pereira. I think that'd be a very, very exciting matchup. Spann by KO, hopefully. I think Spann is too much in his own head. I think lightning strikes here twice. Yes, Spann. I'm kind of with you. Spann kind of weirds me out. I think his mentality is kind of iffy. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's up with Ryan Spann. I was listening to his interview, and I don't know. This fight weirds me out a little bit. Anthony Smith is doing commentary. I think he's on his way out of the UFC. I think he's on his way out as well. Dogger pass for bad fights like Smith. I mean, for me, it's a pass or pass. I don't want to really lay chalk on Ryan Spann, and I don't really want to put any money on Anthony Smith at the same time. So yeah, like I said, it's borderline like 1-800 gambler. I've got not under 2.5 rounds and max over 2.5 rounds, and Giga to win after a round. I think all are all hit there. All hit there. As long as you got Aldrich too as well, like to win under 2.5 rounds, like under 2.5 in general. Smith has a huge dream catcher on his back. He invites bad energy. Remind me, how did Smith finish Spann the first time at Brady? Well, it was like a minute in, and he like rocks Spann bad, and it looked like Spann never recovered. And every time like Smith was touching up Spann, he would like wobble around the cage, and eventually got the fight down to the mat and submitted Spann like late first round. But yeah, Anthony Smith just beat the brakes off of Ryan Spann in that first round, or in that first fight, which it wasn't too long ago. It was like a year ago. A little bit over a year ago, I think. So, if you watch that fight, it's easy to say, oh, he's going to do that again. But I just don't think Anthony Smith is really interested in fighting anymore. Maybe he is, but it just doesn't look like it. So we'll see if a motivated Anthony Smith shows up. Smith by sub, yeah, it could potentially happen. Also could maybe even a KO, because Spann's like, I think Spann's kind of chinny. I think they both are. Their durability is not great, both of them. They've been finished a combined like a million times. Spann's been finished 6 and 8 losses, and Anthony Smith's been finished a massive 14 times. It's ridiculous. All right. Let's talk about the main event. Before we do so, if you guys have not already, please consider smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel as well. We got UFC Paris next week. I'm going to be taping a lot of those fights tomorrow after the Singapore card. Early on, a couple dogs stick out next week for Paris, so that's going to be nice. And then we got Contender Series coming up as well, week number 4 there. So lots of MMA coming our way. The ghost of Smith beats Spann again. He's come back when we thought. That's true. That is 100%. I thought Anthony Smith was done like 4 years ago, and he's surprised me and a lot of other people in fights. So I mean, you're right. You're right. Anthony Smith, one day it looks like he's completely washed and done, and then he shows up and has an incredible performance. So that is a very good point there. Max Holloway is the lock of the year. Only a fluke injury, eye poke, etc. can stop him. He's going to absolutely style on Zombie. Zombie should retire after this fight. I agree, and so do the bookies. So do the bookies. Max Holloway, massive favorite there. What time is everyone getting up in 9 hours? 4:30 for me. I think I'm thinking 5:30. Missed the Jarno Aaron's Choi fight. Wake up just in time for Liang Na. Maybe just to be safe, I'll do 5:15 because I can't afford missing Liang Na fight. All right, main event time. Max Holloway, Korean Zombie. Some of the chats at lock of the century. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'll never call anything a lock in MMA, but I mean, I just don't see how the Korean Zombie really wins this fight. Is he going to take down Holloway and out-grapple him? No. Is he going to out-volume Max Holloway across 25? No. Is he going to knock out Max Holloway? No. I mean, I'm just not really sure where Zombie has any success in this fight at all. This is another fight just like the Nakamura fight where I just don't think it should be sanctioned. I mean, but Chance on John. I mean, this guy, he's talking about retirement. I think he said something along the lines of, we'll see how this fight goes. And I think it's going to go very, very poorly. So this is probably the retirement fight for the Korean Zombie. I'm a big fan of him, always have been, fan favorite, but I mean, he couldn't ask for a tougher matchup here. Korean Zombie, I think he's been on a clear decline. I think we can all see it. It all started with that Ortega fight where he took a layoff. He came back, looked horrible against Ortega, was getting outstruck across the entire 25 minutes, getting hurt multiple times. I think the durability is starting to wane. We saw Volkanovski just put an absolute beating on him his last time out as well. Zombie's taken a ton of damage throughout his career, a ton of damage as of late. I don't like how he's been reacting to shots as of late. I think the durability which was once there, is no longer there. And I just can't see a world where he absorbs and eats 200 to 300 significant strikes without, getting hurt, falling down, getting knocked out. So yeah, I think Holloway does finish Korean Zombie. It's just kind of annoying. Like, the bookies are all over it. It's not often we're laying chalk on Max Holloway to finish a fight. Max Holloway is not the best finisher. He's only finished a little bit over half of his wins in the UFC. And then these round props, like, they're all over them. Like, these are some of the lowest round props you'll ever see, but it's for very, very good reason. I think the bookies are all on the same page in terms of, Max Holloway is going to be very, very, very live to win this fight late, and I think so as well. I was actually surprised to see some of these violence numbers for Max Holloway because I thought I was being kind of sneaky. Like, yeah, I think, Korean Zombie's, on his way out. This is a retirement fight. I think Holloway can finish him late. And yeah, they're all over it and more. So for me, I don't have much on this fight. I think the 4-5 decision on FanDuel Sportsbook is decent, but my worry in that is that, the Korean Zombie could potentially look even worse than he did against Volkanovski after another layoff and another beating he took. And then I think Max Holloway's coming in here just extra motivated. Everything going on with Hawaii, he's very fired up. I think he is going to be looking to put a stamp on this fight. So yeah, give me a Holloway rounds 3, 4, or 5. And I did put a quarter unit sprinkle on Holloway to win in round 3, 4, or 5. Round 3 plus 700, round 4 plus 900, round 5 plus 1100. I think eventually he does get Korean Zombie out of there, whether it's a cut stoppage, a doctor stoppage, or like a mercy stoppage from the referee, because Zombie really shouldn't be taking 200 to 300 more strikes. I mean, this is a matchup that I feel like just shouldn't be happening. I feel like they could have done the Korean Zombie a favor and not gave him a top 5 guy in the division, and that's exactly what's happening here. Max Holloway is the number 2 guy in the featherweight division, and if Alexander Volkanovski was not in that division, Max Holloway would still be running the division for the last several years, though. So, yeah, this is a horrible matchup for him. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm going to get as much Max Holloway as possible. I think he has the highest ceiling on the slate. Max Holloway, one of the best DraftKings scorers, period, in the UFC. So, yeah, I think Max Holloway gets it done. I have a hard time seeing Zombie lasting all 5. Yeah, I mean, he's super tough, but he's taking so much damage. Yep, pretty simple. Max Holloway beats everyone at 145, not named Volk, and that is absolutely the truth. There's just no path to victory for Zombie. I don't see it. I don't see it. Is Max finally getting his overdue KO? Yeah, I mean, if the same Max Holloway shows up that showed up against Calvin Kattar, yeah, absolutely. How many significant strikes for Holloway in the red shorts for Hawaii? I think he has over 150. I mean, he always gets over 100, 150. If this fight gets to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, he's going to smash that. Do you think Max can have a bad performance and lose with everything that's going on in Hawaii? I think if anything, he's probably going to be more motivated. I think if anything, it's probably going to help his performance. But maybe you never know. Maybe it does affect him there. How does Korean Zombie go from the title fight to plus 500 dog against Max Holloway? Well, he was a massive dog in the Volkanovski fight. I think he was like plus like 500, 600 in the Volk fight as well. That's so they can only sanction this in a different country. Yeah, I mean, Fernie Garcia, Nakamura, that wouldn't be happening in Vegas. Will there be a best bet show this week? What time? So the fights start at 5 a.m. Eastern, so we'd have to go live at like 4, and I can almost guarantee you nobody will be willing to do that, not even myself. So there is no best bet show this week, but we will be back next week for UFC Paris. Max by Mercy sub. Maybe. I would lean towards knockout, but maybe he does hurt Zombie really bad. Maybe he does get a sub, but I would lean towards KO there. All right, that's about it. We are doing perfect on time. I'm going to quickly recap my bets. I have the under 2.5 in the Liang Aldrich fight, 2 units minus 110. Nakamura, Fernie Garcia under 1.5 rounds, 1.5 units minus 155. Chidi and Oleksiejczuk fight ends in knockout, 2 units minus 162. Toshiami Kazama, Garrett Armfield under 2.5 rounds, 1.5 units minus 145. A unit on Tafa KO plus 115. A unit on Kinoshita inside the distance plus 120. Half a unit Badoya KO plus 205. Holloway round 3, 4, 5. Quarter unit sprinkles 700, 900, and 1100 odds there. Those are the bets. And yeah, should be a good card here. I'm going to go to bed hopefully within the next hour. Wake up. And then hopefully Liang Na just starts the card off with an absolute bang there. Forgive me, Brady missed the show tonight. About to watch it from the start. Appreciate you showing up, LJ, and best of luck to you tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel on your way out. And best of luck for UFC Singapore. See you guys later.